Louisiana All-American Sports Show. 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 Louisiana. If the sports you want to talk about, then listen to the hottest show that's coming out the South. It's Derrick and Coach Perry Daniels, man. They're gonna sit you down and tell you all about the game and make it plain. 96.9 FM, that's the station. To hear the best sports talk show in the nation. Without hesitation, you should get with this. You get your popcorn ready, boy, you better not miss. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana. It's Joker B. Check us out. Check us out. All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Louisiana All-American Sports Show. I am your host, Gerard Piper, a.k.a. Joker P. And in the studio with me today, I got a special guest. Introduce yourself, my man.
Mission Control.
Say that again.
Mission Control.
That's Mission Control. That's right. That's my main man, Derrick Thomas, and I am the man with the plan. I want to give shouts out first to Eric Hatfield. You know, he couldn't make it this morning. He's studying for a big test, and hey, we know he's going to pass it. We definitely going to give our shouts out to you. And also, I hate having these technical difficulties. Dude, we got Coach. Coach, are you on the air today?
Hello.
Can you hear me, Coach? Can you hear us, Coach?
Pierre, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, we'll definitely have to fix it and get another some technical difficulties that's going on, man. And you know, we're gonna have to get this thing here fixed and get Coach on the mic where he would be able to hear this guy, because he has a lot of knowledge and a lot of things that, you know, we definitely need. And so we're gonna have to get this thing here fixed without Skype. And you know, when you're under the power of the internet, you have to go with what you got. So, but right now that's okay. We're gonna still take over this ship. Like I said, I'm Gerard Piper, aka Joker P, man, and I'm just so happy to be here with you guys. We're gonna start out first with Louisiana All-American Sports Game of the Week. That was last night. McKinley versus St. Amant, and it played here last night from 7 to 10. You guys can tune in every Friday night for the best of sports with the Louisiana All-American Sports Game of the Week. Last night we went out to St. Amant, and it was McKinley versus St. Amant, and McKinley came up short. They allowed the St. Amant Gators to get back into the game at the end of the game and win 50-49. And what a heartbreaking loss it was. And I know Coach Boudreaux has to be upset with his team, or have to be, you know, disappointed in that loss.
Right. A 51-50 defeat when they had the lead in the closing minutes, and they allowed St. Amant to come back and take over that and win that game.
Yes, and you know, we talked about this. McKinley has seemed to have been on a roller coaster this year. They started out great. They started out 2-0 in the district, and then they had some untimely loss. Of course, you gotta talk about the injuries. You know, with one of their best players, the best player they had is Tyrese Rafford, was out for a couple of games, and also Marcus Coleman had to step his game up. A.J. Lee was out for a couple of games. He's a starting center, so two of their starters were out in the last couple of weeks, and so McKinley, you know, they weren't able to capitalize on it. They came real close to defeating St. Amant last night, but hey, they had the lead, they had everything they needed. But you got to give credit to St. Amant. St. Amant was able to hang in there, make timely shots, get defensive stops, and get themselves back into the game. The home crowd was with them, and they were able to come back and beat McKinley by 1 point in the waning seconds. And so what a disappointing loss.
Hello?
There we go. We got Perry.
You got Perry. Can you hear us, Coach?
Perry, can you hear us?
I can hear you really, really low, Derrick.
What about now?
That's a little bit better.
That's a little bit better. See if you could turn it up. What about me? I don't think Coach can hear me. Can Coach hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you, Joker.
Okay, man. Well, we finally got these technical difficulties, and I was saying we got to get this here straight. Of course, we apologize to the listeners out there, but we have in the house Coach Perry Daniels. How goes it, Coach?
It's going super fantastic, gentlemen. Man, that was a tough loss last night for the McKinley Panthers, but the sun still shines today.
Well, we were just talking about that. I was just discussing that, the tradition and McKinley having a couple of starters out the last couple of weeks with Tyrese Rafford and A.J. Lee. Been on a kind of a roller coaster this season. They were the district champs, defending district champs, coming into this season after having a remarkable year last year, being able to win their first district title in 20 years. But this year they came out the gate 2-0 in district. But with the injuries and with, I can kind of say maybe motivation from the team, sometimes they play well, sometimes they don't. They was able to win the East Baton Rouge Parish tournament, and so things were looking up for McKinley. But it's been a couple of losses, I think, that they shouldn't have gotten this year, Coach. What do you think?
Well, one, I think it's really important that we mention that the two powerhouse programs in the city chose not to play in this year's East Baton Rouge Parish tournament. So that honor isn't, it's a nice honor to have. Anytime you play in a tournament, you want to win it, but it needs to be noted that Scotlandville and Madison Prep both were out of the city playing in other tournaments. Now, as far as this team goes, as I listened to Eric Hatfield's interview with Coach Boudreaux last night, Coach Boudreaux mentioned that the team was just a little too lax. And, sometimes with kids that happens, we've got to find a way to get consistent play out of those kids. And once they do that, then the sky is the limit for that McKinley basketball team. And it's not too late to write off this season. I think they'll have some extra motivation when they go to East Ascension next week. I think you've got Broadmoor coming up, who actually the program is a little different than in years past. However, they had a real bad loss last night to Dutchtown.
Yes.
So, the season is still salvageable. They're going to make the playoffs. And once you get into the playoffs, anything's possible.
You hit it right on the head. Anything is possible once you get into the playoffs. And this team does have time to turn it around. And that's, from my observation, that's exactly what I've seen this year. In some games, McKinley seems to be, I wouldn't say overconfident, but maybe a little lackluster, not having as much motivation. And in some games, I've seen where McKinley has all of the motivation. They attack the basket. They have, you could look at them, they're very emotional and very enthusiastic about the play. And in some games that they haven't lost, like earlier in the season with what was WHYR or one of those teams, or St. Thomas, one of those teams beat them.
WHYR was a bad loss. Yeah,
it was a bad loss. And so they even lost. I think Broadmoor beat them once already this year. Am I correct?
Yes, they did. They did. And Broadmoor is ranked like 40th according to the power rankings. But if they can pull off a win at East Ascension, they need to beat Broadmoor Tuesday. But if they can go down to East Ascension and win that game, based on the power rankings, with East Ascension being ranked so high at the number one team in classification 5A basketball, then, they can still pull off a pretty good seeding when the playoffs does happen in a few weeks.
Most definitely. Well, we definitely going to watch McKinley. And like I said, you guys can tune in here, 96.9, 7 o'clock every Friday for Louisiana All-American Sports Game of the Week featuring the McKinley Panthers. I got some more scores here for you. Denham Springs and Live Oak also played last night. Denham Springs come up with the win, 63-59. Dutchtown, as Perry said, defeated Broadmoor 71-41. East Ascension, that great team, had a good game against Catholic, and they was able to beat those guys by 18, 62-44. East Feliciana beat Northeast, which is a rival between those two teams, 80-56. Episcopal beats Christian Life 74-43, and Glen Oaks, as we said before, defeated Baker 54-43 last night. Plaquemine defeats Woodlawn 59-29. Southern Labs, which has been doing really good this year. Got to give the coach up there big props. He's been doing a fantastic job. They defeat Kentwood 77-35 last night. WHYR rebounds from a loss to Baker, and they won against Parkview 84-55. Walker defeats Central 69-58, and upset alert. Zachary defeats Scotlandville 40-39. And wow, I think that's probably the upset of the year so far.
So far, that's got to be the upset of the year, man. I when I saw that score, I was like, wait a minute, that can't be right.
Right. Right. And I've seen a couple. Yeah, I said the same thing, but I've seen a couple chinks, or little chinks in the armor of Schuylerville. We saw Madison Prep defeat him. That was our game of the week. What was 2 weeks ago, right? And so, Madison Prep was able to beat those guys by 1 point. I want to say 2. And so Schuylerville, there's a couple of losses this year. They're not used to that. We're definitely going to see how where they go moving forward. Of course, we know they're going to be in the playoffs, and we covered those guys last year in the finals, back-to-back finals. They won 2 years ago, lost last year. So let's see if these guys can make it 3 for 3, of course. But Zachary with the win, 40-39, and those.
So Zachary's a pretty good basketball team, man, but they're no Madison Prep,
And that's become a rivalry. We know on the football side of it with Scotlandville and Zachary, and so I guess Zachary is saying, hey, we want to make it a rivalry on the basketball side too. You guys been dominating us for too long, and so, but those are the scores, man. The local games, but McKinley girls. They won last night against St. Amar. And Derrick, that's the first thing Derrick said when I came in the studio. He said, well, the boys lost, but the girls, man, they won. They won big.
They hammered St. Amar girls. Let me see if I can get that score for you. I mean, they didn't play any games with them. I mean, you would wish the young men could have had that attitude, but, hey, these young women, let's see, the final score.
And they've been playing
57-25. They doubled them up +7.
Wow. Well, shouts out to McKinley High School girls basketball team. We definitely going to have to start covering these girls a little bit more, giving them their props. They also won the East Baton Rouge Parish Tournament along with the McKinley boys basketball team. And so far, they've been doing a great job. And so shouts out to McKinley High School girls basketball team.
Yeah, Joker. So just to let our listeners know, we're working on bringing you, just like on the Friday night broadcast, we bring you the men's game. Because this girls' McKinley team is doing so well, we're working on trying to bring you some of that out for the show.
Okay, most definitely. I also want to mention that we have a record drive here today and a record sale going on here today at 96.9. 1623 Main Street, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's 1623 Main Street, WHYR FM. We have a record sale going on over here. I want y'all to come on over, man. We got a lot of good older records, old school vinyl. You know what I mean? And so it's throwback. You can come over here and get you some good records for a very, very good price. And it helps us, it helps us keep these lights on and the doors open and bringing this good content to you guys out there. Is very much appreciative. So, hey, come on down for the sale, for the record sale, WHYR FM, 1623 Main Street here in Baton Rouge. And Perry, man, like I said, hey, we got a lot of more stuff to talk about. Another high school action being Derrick, and also we want to talk about Dylan Moses was named the Parade Magazine Player of the Year. Of course, he spent his senior year now at the IMG Academy here in Florida. But we had a lot of guys that signed, and we want to give those guys a little bit of recognition. Derrick is our main man. He's on the HBCU side of it, and on the college sports side of it. This is our man. So I'm gonna kind of defer to him. I'm gonna let him get the mic, practice on his delivery, and practice on his stuff.
Well, signing day, of course, was big for Louisiana. Of course, you had hometown kid, like you said, Dylan Moses committing to Alabama. We had a lot of area signees. There's actually too many to name, so I'm going to run down the schools. Lots of area talent are going to be able to start their academic and athletic careers playing football in the state of Louisiana and abroad. So congratulations to the young men. A couple players from Scotlandville. Of course, we all know Levi Lewis went to U of L. Sorry about that.
Just keep on going with it. Who else?
What is going on, guys?
Just a little background music for the people.
Levi Lewis committed to U of L. Woodlawn had one signee, R.B. Javin Myers, who went to U of L. McKinley, our McKinley Panthers had a signee.
Hold on, Derrick. Let's just do this, man. Because there are so many, and we have such limited time, instead of mentioning the kids, just run down the list of schools that recruited kids in the Baton Rouge area. The kids know which school they chose. Let's just mention those schools and thank those schools.
Okay, well, we want to, of course, be thankful for Independence, Kansas Community College, Incarnate Word, U of L, Trinity International, ULM, Concordia St. Paul, the Army Academy, Ball State, of course, LSU, Northwestern State, Southern Grambling, Tennessee, College of the Redlands, Minnesota West Community College, Oklahoma, Pearl River Community College. So many, Perry. Either way, it's going to be a lot. So Madison Prep had a lot of signees. Bel Air had one. Let's see, Glen Oaks, Dutchtown, Bruley, Parkview Baptist, Central, Lutcher, Southern Lab, of course, Zachary, Catholic, St. Amant. If you want to get a list of those players and where they're headed to, you can, find that information on The Advocate. The Advocate does a fantastic job providing coverage for the young men in the Baton Rouge metro area, as far as showing us where they're going. So, it's too many for me to name in this short period of time. But wow, me being from Mississippi,
yes.
I mean, I knew Baton Rouge was a hotbed for football.
Hey.
But my God.
Pat us on the back.
I mean, this is a tremendous number of young men going on to the next level to play college football. And some are going to have professional aspirations and actually have a high incentive to meet those professional goals, Perry.
Hey, yeah, that's absolutely right, man. And our guest that's coming up near the bottom of the hour, I'm going to let him, as I was doing some research in preparation for his show, he said something that was very profound regarding the ball and education. And we need to make sure that we ask him to speak to that so that these young men can have everything in perspective. But we want to thank those schools for recruiting young people and young men out of the Baton Rouge area. We just appreciate that. And hopefully we've played a part in preparing those young men for the stage that you're going to put them on.
Right, man. Well, you definitely guys need to tune in for that. And hey, it's a lot of people that's been here. I'm interested to see how LSU recruits and the people they get. Of course, we missed out on Dylan Moses. He's going with Nick Saban. So it was another running back.
Chris Allen also.
Yeah, Chris Allen also. Kind of changed it up. I want to think that had something to do with Les Miles leaving, but I'm not sure. But we'll see. I have a lot of confidence in LSU's new coach, so I think they'll be fine.
Right, I think he's going to be fine also. I mean, Coach Orgeron is known as a top-notch recruiter. Of course, when you're dealing with young kids, you're not going to get everybody you want. The kids have to go where they want to go. So a lot of people feel like Coach Orgeron's class wasn't a success. I feel it was a success because here's the thing. Coaches recruit kids.
How many Alabama got? 5, right? I think Alabama got 5.
6 of, Mike said it last night, 6 of Louisiana's top 20, I think. But you have kids who have to make a decision for themselves. Everyone's not going to come to LSU. These young men have a desire to, some want to leave.
Why would you want to go to LSU? That's why would you want to go to LSU? But look, let's move on. Let's jump into let's go to the break of the day, and then we'll come out and go into our college. No, first let's go to the break, then our college set.
Okay. Well, hey, we're going to go to our break for the day. This is a song. I want you guys to check this out. And I just want you to read into this song. You
mentioned that in some of your other interviews. Could you tell my viewers what exactly is the definition of a high roller?
Speed of light, fast. It's like walking barefoot over broken glass. It's like jumping. Oh, man, you know who they were?
Nah, they had bad cars, a whole bunch of golden beetles.
You better watch your back if you want to be a high roller.
So you better watch your back if you want to be a high roller. And that comes from Ice-T on the actually that was a power album. And you know, we chose that song. I pretty much know why Coach you chose that song. But I want you to tell it. I want you to say why you chose.
Those high rollers running the country, man.
Hey,
that's what we have right now too.
Kids are watching, and the kids are watching.
Most definitely, man, and we're going to have a special guest. We got 2 special guests on today. We're going to have a young person on today, and I wanted to hear from her point of view, what she thinks of what's going on in the world, and her perspective on things. Being a young person, so we'll have that up for you. But now we got to get to Southern University, man.
We're gonna go in the NFL.
No, man, we got a Super Bowl champion in our pit.
Oh, we got a Super Bowl champion, and he's waiting.
Yeah, we have. Let's go ahead and introduce our guest. We have Tyrone Keys of the Chicago Bears Super Bowl Shuffle Crew, number 98 for the Chicago Bears. Tyrone, are you on?
Yes, I'm here, man.
All right, thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. You're down there for the Super Bowl, so Coach Perry, go ahead and lead off on this.
Okay, Derrick, let me do this, man. Let's introduce this champion properly. In 1981, he was the 5th round pick. Guys, you got to kill that background music. Thank you. In 1981, he was the 5th round pick out of Mississippi State. He played for the Chicago Bears, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the San Diego Chargers. Super Bowl 20, the Chicago Bears win the championship. He was a defensive lineman on that team. That is the team that created the video called the Super Bowl Shuffle. Mr. Tyrone Keys, welcome to the show, sir. We are so extremely proud to have you.
Oh man, it's awesome. It's awesome. That's a great introduction, and thank you, Derrick. Derrick opened up with Coach Keys because that's what I do now. I've been coaching since I hung up the cleats there, and although I'm not coaching on the sidelines, I still coach young men and women in the game of life there, mostly student athletes there. So I'm glad to be on, man, and I would tell you, man, that opening reminded me of our Super Bowl 20, Super Bowl Shuffle. Man, who can forget those lyrics that Walter Payton opened up with? The Bears had a goal since training camp to bring Chicago a Super Bowl champ.
Wow.
And for those lyrics, and then he went on to say, the Bears are not doing it because we're greedy, we're doing it to feed the needy. And what that means is for him, and tonight we get a chance to watch the Walter Payton Award given out each year the night before the Super Bowl. And you'll sit back and you look back as I watched that event and attended sometimes to say, here's a guy that I played with, come from the SWAC, Jackson, Mississippi, and the NFL Man of the Year for somebody who's giving back to the needy has manifested itself into the biggest awards, the biggest sports award in the world. And that goes to show you the power of sports. I heard you talk about what's going on in the world today. Well, you know, it's amazing because I've been, you know, down here for the last 3 days, and there's no news, and everything is so interjected with sports. And that's one thing about the power of sports. It has the opportunity to unify and to get our minds off of other things for the time period there. So anyway, man, I'm happy to be here and on your show and to share whatever we like to share with your audience here.
Well, I'm glad you said that. You spoke. I believe in putting things in perspective, and sports is great, but the Quest Foundation, if you would talk a little bit about that.
Well, the Quest Foundation is kind of like the Shuffle, and I get a chance to share that Shuffle. At the time, you know, like a lot of people would think that the Shuffle, you know, you guys are up there, you know, after they don't realize the backdrop of the story is that the story is we created and produced the Shuffle after we lost to the Miami Dolphins. It was our darkest time as a team throughout that season because we were 12-0. And we're going into the 13th game, and although 13 is, some say is an unlucky number, but it's how you turn a setback into a comeback. And so what happened with us on the plane ride home after losing 38-21 in the most watched game ever in the history of Monday Night Football, the leaders got together, Walter Payton and Singletary, and then some of the guys we huddled up on the plane there, and we said, hey, man, we're going to pull the trigger. We're going to pull the trigger on this Super Bowl Shuffle. We're going to record it in the morning. So I'm like, these guys got to be kidding me, man, because we usually have a meeting, but somehow Coach called it off. He didn't want us to watch that game film, and he wanted us to say, from this day forward, it's going to be a new season. So I get up that morning and I look at the big temperature gauge that I had outside my door, because one of the things in Chicago that we knew that if it was 0 or below, we practiced indoors. And I looked up that morning, it was 11 degrees. I said, dang, man. I called Leslie Frazier, who's a SWAT guy, who now is a D coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. I called him up. And he said, yeah, man, we're going to do it. Called Singletary just to make sure. And he said, yeah, we're going to do it. And so we went down there, man, and we got there about 11, 12 that morning. Spent about 2 or 3 hours on it. And the next day, man, we released it. And for 6 weeks, they played that song, man, and we hit Bourbon Street everywhere we went, man. The Super Bowl Shuffle. We ain't here to start no trouble. We just here to do the Super Bowl Shuffle, man. It was everywhere. It was everywhere, man. I'm telling you, man. And so when we talk about the quest, see, there's 2 quests in life that I feel like that's conflicted. There's a quest that people look at, and they look at a worldly quest. And, you know, and then you look at a quest where it's a true and real, which is real success versus worldly success. And sometimes we forget about our teachers, we forget about our people who are serving us, protecting and serving, and it's just not in that arena, but anybody who has a calling, if you're doing your calling and you've been gifted to do it, and money is not your sole purpose for doing it, we call it a quest for real and true success. And that's an inwardly calling. You know, so everybody can have it in all facets of life there. And because it takes, everybody has to understand their role to be part of a great, great championship team. And that's what we're trying to get to as a world and as a country. And then it can enhance into a worldly deal there. When we take self out of it. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Well, man.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome, Coach Keys. This past week, we just had signing day for a lot of high school kids across the country who think that, you know, football is their ticket, is their way out. What advice would you offer them? Well,
I will tell you this. We had 39 kids signed that came up through our program this past signing day, just in Tampa alone. And these are some young people that I helped many years ago in 1990s and in the 90s, and they had a vision to go off, and they didn't have the grades to go to major colleges, and they ended up going to some junior colleges. One went to Itawamba in Mississippi, and one went out to Butte College. And they vowed that they would start a program underneath it, with the vision of all sports and what Coach Jenkins did for many of us at Callaway. They vowed to start a program where they come back and help young men with the ACT, SAT, and to community service, and just said, we're going to use sports as a carrot. And so at the end of the day, you're going to be a well-rounded athlete, and you will have a game plan beyond high school where you actually, whether you go to college or you can use all the skills, teamwork, character, everything that you've been part of with your coaches and with all sports and unsigned preps, you will have a game plan, whether you go to college or not, whether you go to a training school, get a trade, and those are the types of things. We talk about using sports as a vehicle, and so we have to be careful on these big signing days that the other kids who don't sign on that day, or you have other kids who are signing with these Division III schools where these colleges are costing like $50,000 a year to go there, but they and their families don't want to be left out on that big signing day. And so we deal with the whole gamut. And then we have the stories of the Nate Peoples. Nate came up through our program. He walked on at Mississippi State, and now 20 years later, he was a coach at Mississippi State, and he had a walk-on there from our program last year. And so now Nate is at University of Texas because he got offered a big deal. And when Nate was walking on at Mississippi State, his second year, I remember him complaining about not making the traveling squad. And I said, Nate, what's your dream in life? He said, I want to be a coach. I said, you sit on the front row at every meeting, and I guarantee you 10 years from now, when we pull out the roster of your team, 10 to 20 years from now, if you become a coach and you look at where you are salary-wise and career-wise versus all these people who are looking at a limited viewpoint, you'll see. And now he's making way over six figures, and all the guys who were like stars on the team, they calling him now like, how can I get in as a coach? How can I do this? How can I do that? And so we have to understand that the process is a journey, and just appreciate the journey and just enjoy the ride. And you just never know who's on your team that you can later team up with in the biggest game of all, which is the game of life.
Wow, that's so refreshing, Coach Keys.
And you know what? Since I've gotten to know Coach Keys, I mean, he has been like a mentor to me. I mean, even I'm in my late 30s, and I'm learning so much just by, talking with him, working with him. And it's good to have mentors in life, and that's something that's very important to his mission. And thank you, Coach Keys. I mean, you just
he hit everything on the head. Even the question I was going to ask about Walter Payton, what impact, but he went into that and talked about the impact that Walter Payton had in the Walter Payton Award. And I also was going to ask about mentoring young people, and he went into that. So I'm like, he got the right name, the Keys. He got the keys. You know what I mean?
I want to say this on Christmas.
So, Coach, the guys were getting into a little LSU recruiting before you came on, and you happened to play in the SEC for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Talk about that experience of playing in the SEC at Mississippi State, defeating the number one ranked team at the time, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Oh yeah, man. I never forget on signing day, and in talking with Callaway recruit that was looking at going to Mississippi State, and he called me earlier in the week and asked me how did I come to making a decision on the school that I was going to attend. And I told him I wanted to meet some of the other young men that was going to go up there. And so I never forget getting on the phone, calling Johnny Cooks, who ended up being the second player picked in the draft, and Glenn Collins, who ended up being a first rounder coming out of Jim Hill, and Marty McDowell, who's went on to got drafted that same year. And so we all got on the phone, we talked, and we said, man, let's go up there and do something special. Let's build something in the state, because at that time we were all highly recruited by University of Alabama. I remember Bear Bryant calling me, and I had to turn him down. And I remember Jackie Sherrill making a last pitch at me at the University of Pitt. And but we wanted to do something in the state that we can be proud of, and let's say, let's go beat the Bear. Let's go do something like that. And so, and you know, being a part of that team, and I'm going to connect the dots for you, being part of that team that beat the number one ranked team, Alabama, who Mississippi State has not beaten in 30-something years, to break their win streak of 28 straight games and to hold a number one ranked team out of the end zone and to single-digit points, that's history. I mean, that's history. And Coach Emory Ballard, who was the inventor of the wishbone, he had told us, hey, if you guys do everything that I tell you what to do, if you guys is focused this week, I'm going to coach you, because I guarantee you we got the horses to do it. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about it, because I invented the wishbone, and I'm the only person that know how to stop it. Man, that brought tears to us. That brought tears to us. He say, and that tells you a lot about just, you know, when we talk about the shuffle, we talk about faith. We're talking about the inventor of something, the creator of something. Same way in Chicago, I end up being with the creator and the inventor of the 46 defense.
But
so I know, I know what it's about when somebody say, "Hey, always go to the source and find the person that invented it." And so when we talk about any problems on Earth, hey, we got a creator, and we got to always use that manual. And so all of that is right on time, and that's how we get to the real and true quest of something.
That's great, Coach. Again, we appreciate you joining us on Louisiana All-American Sports. I have to ask you a couple of questions about health, you know, with the enlightened focus on the health of former NFL players. Before we let you go, if you could just kind of share with us health-wise, where you are and what you believe the state of the game's responsibility is to keep former players healthy.
Well, the game is so universal, and obviously we've had some, it's been brought to the forefront in the last few years of how things can be made better, but actually is brought to the forefront even in a negative light. I had teammates, Dave Durson, who was a very close friend of mine. I was actually on his radio show. He had a radio show similar to what you guys were doing. He called me up about 2 weeks previously, and he was always marketing what All Sports was about. He was a contributor, had a scholarship fund set up. And then, I mean, you know, I was totally shocked, you know, when he was diagnosed and he ended up, you know, he didn't know what was wrong with him. But, you know, it's well documented now that he shot himself in the chest so that his brain can be preserved. So that lets you know a part of him was functioning to the standpoint that he knew something was wrong. He just didn't know what was wrong. Junior Seau, who played for the San Diego Chargers, where I ended my career with a few years later, he did the same thing. Tom McKell, actually, teammate of mine, he was the first. And I remember he was part of our organization. And I remember him struggling as a businessman at the end and just being confused. And Andre Waters, another friend of mine. So these are guys, I mean, it's real to me, although on TV, you know, you hear about it and you don't know the guys, but it's real to me.
Yes,
and,
Coach.
So when we look at football, it brings a lot of people together, and we have to be conscious, man, that everything that the league should do to make it possible to make the games not only safer, but to take care of the guys who helped make the popularity of the game to where it's at today.
Hey, Coach Keys, not to interrupt you, I wanted to ask you, you spoke about Dave Durson, your teammates in Junior Seau. I wanted to ask about your health. Has you experienced any type of after effects from playing football?
Well, I left the game injured. You know, I left the game injured. If not, you know, you probably still trying to play. But I left the game with I had back, shoulder, and knee surgery all in the same year. And I never forget, most recently, during that year I was in San Diego, and I ended up while I was rehabbing, I met a gentleman who was working at a halfway house, and we got to talking. I said, man, I'm very interested in doing something like that when I retire. And then he said, man, you can come over and, you come over now and just meet the kids. And I met the kids, and then he said, hey, I started spending the night over there with the kids and, help him out with his business. And then I met another gentleman watching a Saturday day college game, and he had a bunch of kids with him. And he told me he was the head coach of a youth football team, and he was looking for an assistant coach. I said, man, I'm injured, so I'm out for the season. And he offered me that opportunity. And one of those guys contacted me today. He's over 40 years old, but, man, he said, man, by you being injured that year, you saved, man, that was the best thing that could have ever happened to us as a group of kids. They were all, Spanish kids, come from tough neighborhoods there. And, man, we just had a great time. But little did they know they saved me because, at that time, you don't know what you're going to do. You have a lot of thoughts of what you're going to do because back then, guys were an afterthought once they left the game. But now you see guys now, they make opportunities for guys to get on TV and do things like that, radio shows and things like that too. It's good business for the game. But back then, it was not. So the injuries that I was feeling, man, I got a new lease on life, and that's the way I like to look at it. So I don't like to dwell on the physical part. So I'm just kind of sharing with you from an emotional state. It took me to a higher level, and I want to say a spiritual level.
That's awesome, man.
Before we let you go, Coach,
we got to get his pick.
We got to get your pick. Who do you think is going to be doing the Super Bowl shuffle? The Falcons,
the Dirty Birds?
Hey, man. Hey, me and my son is down here at the game. We've gone to several games where the Patriots have played in. And the reason I tell, it's ironic that the hotel that I'm staying in, it's a Patriots hotel for all the families. And I'm sitting down there, eating breakfast. I had my Chicago Bear stuff on yesterday because they did a program with us. They wanted me to wear my number 98 jersey, saying that the man who's helped over 98 kids not only go off to college, but have come back as educators and educators and youth coaches. And so they just talked about all sports in our organization and the number 98 there. But my thing is, I said, well, it's amazing that the Patriots, they went through a crucifixion back in 1986. And so no wonder they're doing so well. Hey, there was a crucifixion.
Yeah, there was a crucifixion and exorcism all in one. Yeah.
So to answer your question, man, if they can, I want to see how can they slow down those weapons. Now, I will tell you this: their first part of the game, the first part of the game, because I never forget, Buddy Ryan put me in on the second play because we had a defense named after a special defense that I was going to pick up the back, and we were going to send the strong safety, Dave Durson, in the kitchen sink. But somebody had to pick up the back, and somebody had to be disciplined enough to pick up the back. So when I went out there, man, you can just hear a thump, 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 thump. Everybody, you can hear the heartbeats of all the teams, man, because that adrenaline is so powerful because everybody knows that the world is watching, and it probably takes about 2 or 3 series for the game to calm down.
Wow,
and
that's
I
a good
think
point.
the Patriots might have that edge because they've been there. They've been there. If they can sustain, something, but my key thing is I want to see how they can stop those weapons. And so my prediction is I just want to see it go down to the wire. I'm not going to make a prediction.
Well, crucifixion.
Coach took us through all that and didn't even give us a prediction.
I will tell you, I've been very, very impressed with Matt Ryan. I've been very, very impressed with who's not impressed with Tom Brady. But I just do not know how
who should be the MVP.
I don't even know how they end this game with the talent level that they have playing against the Patriots. So,
well, what about the MVP of the season? Who should it be? Should it be Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers,
Dak Prescott?
I think it should be the winner of the Super Bowl. It should definitely not be Aaron Rodgers. It should be the winner of the. It should be the winner of this Super Bowl. It should be the MVP. I don't know if that's but that's going to come out tonight, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. The MVP of the league comes out tonight, right? Before the game.
I think so.
Well, Matt Ryan. It should be Matt Ryan.
And
I would definitely say Matt Ryan. I watched him up close, man, and in personal, sitting on the sidelines at the Tampa Bay Bucks, Atlanta Falcons games, man. He throws some very, very good timing routes. I just do not know. If they can sustain the pressures of and the adrenaline rush early on, I think they have a good chance. Man. But I know you guys want a prediction. If I had to say something,
you had to put money down.
I'm going to go ahead and say the Patriots. Since they've been through a crucifixion, they're probably going to be still rolling.
Right. Well, we might as well go ahead and get our predictions in. Coach, you want to go now, or you want me to go? Since we got about 6 minutes left here.
We got about 6 minutes left in the show. Wow, has time flown?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, so Coach Keys, thank you again. You are so much. Being a Super Bowl champion is nice, but you are a champion in life. You are creating other champions, and we greatly appreciate who you are as a man, as a person. And again, thank you for joining our show. Callaway High's finest, Mr. Coach Keys, winner of 22 straight games in a row at Callaway High School. We really appreciate you, sir.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. And, man, I just want to say this to your listeners. Derrick, I got a very heartwarming message the other day from Redeemer School. And they said, Coach Keys, not only did you and your 75 team make a contribution, but we also had received a contribution from another alum of Callaway. And she said, I said, who was it? She said, it was Derrick Thomas. That warms my heart, man, to see you playing the game of life, too.
Yes, sir. I mean, hey, that's the name of the game, giving back. And, I definitely understand that going through that flood and, what you and other people in the Mississippi State community did for me. So I just have to pay it forward.
That's what's up, man. That is what's up. Derrick, my man.
All right. Well, you guys, let me hear your predictions.
Well,
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'll go first. I'm going to be short and sweet. Falcons in the upset.
Falcons in the upset. Well, I got Eric Hatfield's pick. He told me anybody except the Falcons. So I would take that, imagine that Eric is going to choose the Patriots. I'm Gerard Piper, a.k.a. Joker P. I usually go with I called Tom Brady dimple in the chin. Because a lot of the good old quarterbacks had that little dimple in their chin, like
Montana.
Yeah, Montana and Joe Namath. There's a lot of other guys. I can go with Bradshaw, Targeton, a lot of other guys. But I don't know. This is a tough call. I always thought Matt Ryan was a little overrated, but he's showing me though. He's kind of showing me this year with the weapons he got. What Coach Keys mentioned with Gabriel and Julio and those guys coming out the backfield. Yeah. So, but I can't go against dimple in the chin, so I got to go with New England.
Yeah, I'm New England all the way here. And so now, Coach Keys, you ready to give your offer? We have a section that we have a selection that we play weekly called I Told You So. So we're going to play this back.
Well. We'll play this back next week. We don't have one this week because Eric's not here, but go ahead, Perry. With these picks that we got, we're definitely going to bring this back up again next week, and all of our voices and
I'm gonna be the only one that get the ding. Y'all
you're the only one going with Atlanta.
Y'all gonna get the Darth Vader no.
You know what? I'm going since Derrick and everything Mississippi. I'm gonna go on with this good state of Mississippi, and I'm going to choose Atlanta. I'm gonna change my pick. I'm going with Atlanta. I'm dirty. I'm dirty bird.
Julio? Who's gonna stop
I'm
Julio?
going with Julio. Julio Jones.
I know the kid from Mississippi, the cornerback.
Me and DT.
He can't stop Julio. Julio kills everybody. He whoops everybody, even with a bad foot.
And I think the MVP,
Matt Ryan.
Oh yeah. Well, Arthur Blank, he's a good man, and if he goes that way, he's one of the few owners, only owner that I know that matches his players' contributions to the community 2-to-1. And we received a check from him as well. We had a player that played for him, and that player sent in a contribution, and Arthur Blank, the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, matched it 2-to-1. And so he has a beautiful foundation. So if it goes his way, more power to him. You
mean to tell me he sent you the check and you going with the Patriots?
Well, the player had his foundation administrated through us. We're talking strictly football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
man.
Hey, guys, what's coming up right after our show?
Yes, sir. Well, we want to thank
Noel Jackson's Music Satisfaction
here on WHYR LP 96.9 FM, Baton Rouge Community Radio. And I want to give a big shout out to Noel Jackson, man. Last week I heard his show pretty much in entirety. I was working another job and I was able to sit back and, man, Noel have some great stories that he had last week. And I just want to commend him for a great show. You guys, make sure you tune in right after this. Louisiana All-American Sports is Noel Jackson with Music Satisfaction here on 96.9 WHYR FM.
And before we get out of here, I want to congratulate Louisiana native Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
He's the Rookie of the Year. And we also have plenty of Louisiana natives in the Super Bowl. We have Robert Alford, Barkevius Mingo,
yes,
Tyson Jackson, Deion Jones.
Shouts out.
Congrats to you, gentlemen. It's total of 7. I had a technical difficulty with my link.
That's
kind of went out on it. But congrats to all the Louisiana natives in the Super Bowl. Up next coming, like you said, Noel Jackson. And we're going to be out of here.
Noel Jackson. Yeah, we got about 30 seconds, man. Go ahead, Coach.
Tonight at the F.G. Clark Activity Center.
It's awesome to be on your show. And I was sharing with Derrick yesterday. I was on Radio Row, and I sent him pictures, and my vision for you all is to have a spot on Radio Row in the next couple Super Bowls here. Let me know what I can do to help make that happen, but I'm all about helping people get to the next level, and there's hundreds of stations up here. I saw Stephen A. Smith and ESPN yesterday. I saw His and Hers. They had their show going. They got a swag show, being people that was interviewing swag players. I was with, matter of fact, you should have Robert Brazile on your show. Robert Brazile is should be a candidate up and coming for the Hall of Fame, and we need guys like you to push him, to get the word out. Everson Walls from Louisiana, Grambling. The only defensive back and then last defensive back to pick off 11 passes in a season. Like he said, he don't toot his own horn. We need people like you to help toot his horn.
That's right. He was one of my favorites, Everson Walls. That's right.
Go ahead, Perry.
Go ahead, Coach.
Thank you, Coach Keys. We've got to run. Monday night, Jackson State and Southern University on ESPNU. Check it out tonight up at the F.G. Clark Activity Center. Southern and Grand.